Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo. I am joined by my two rather elated co-hosts. To my right, it is the one, the only, Uncle Sam.
Hello.
That wasn't very elated.
Hello.
I said elated. Come on.
I said hello. I'm sorry, I'm not high like Bruce. If I was high like Bruce, I'd be like, hey, what's up, guys?
And to my left, it is the one and only Mr. Zolo, Mike Pellisolo.
Hello.
There it is. He
I hear
pulled the
ya.
old switcheroo there.
I hear you.
And behind the computer, just jerking his own gherkin, as always, it is Bruce, the tugboat Venditti.
What's going on?
See, he jacked your shit today.
Whatever. High as
Anyways,
shit right now. He fucked up the first recording. What are we doing here?
yeah, we had to take a little mulligan today, but you know, is what
mulligan.
it is. Is what it is. Ready to go now.
That's because somebody had too many mulligans.
How was everyone's weekend? Yours specifically?
What?
How was your weekend?
It's great.
What'd you do?
Floors.
Floor? What do you mean floors?
Sanding and varnishing and staining floors.
So, was it Minwax?
No.
What kind of stain?
Verathane.
What color?
Cognac and true brown.
That's rich.
Cognac
that's
and
rich.
true brown
That's
together.
There we go. Are we going to
I've had poops that have looked exactly like that.
It's two together.
nice, deep,
It's very
rustic?
chocolatey
Is it?
with a red tint.
What did you put it on? What did
Floors.
You, oh,
Floor.
floors.
He redid his floors this weekend.
What room?
I did my sitting room. Now we're doing the dining room.
Wow. So, well, thank you for taking time out of your busy remodeling schedule to join us today. I appreciate it. I'm not talking shit. I'm being serious because you're giving me the you're talking shit thing.
We know you're fiending.
could have been at
We know
home
you're
doing
fiending to
floors.
get back there right now to do
Would you-
some floors.
No, I need a break. My arms are killing me, dude. I'm shot.
You are looking rather buff today. More
I am,
so than
ain't I?
usual. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're pumped up. Right
For an old dude.
You look like a
Pumped up
bouncer at the
right
club.
For an
Yeah,
old
you do.
dude.
You look like you should be checking
He literally
IDs.
has the bouncer T-shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Milwaukee hat.
Yeah.
The
This
bouncer.
is a fake. This is a fake. Either leave or we're calling the cops.
You trimmed the beard yesterday, didn't you?
No, I haven't trimmed the beard. I went to the Botcher wedding.
It's perfectly
Saturday.
lined up right.
Did Botcher himself
Congratulations to Brock and Madison.
No, it was Botcher's son, Brock.
Congrats.
Brock
get married?
Botcher.
Yes.
Brock Botcher. That's a wrestler name.
Has there ever been, wrestler?
There's nobody that looks more like a wrestler.
Baseball.
Have
than
you heard
Brock
of a
and his
state
dad.
policeman who had more of a perfect name?
No.
Brock Botcher.
This is Sergeant Brock
And,
Botcher.
and,
MSP.
he's the nicest kid in the world. There's nobody nicer than Brock.
There we go.
Brock
Shout out to Brock.
Brock smiles at everybody.
Love
Shout out
that.
to Brock.
It pisses Mike off so bad that Brock just smiles.
Just a happy kid.
Yeah.
And then
It's
you
like fucking kid's always smiling.
pussy.
I don't know
Anyway,
why he's fucking smiling all the time. I go, that's his defense mechanism against you.
did you cook anything this weekend?
No, I
Oh
did
wait,
not.
I wanted to. I was gonna say I'd like to invoke the tipped meats clause.
Have
Here,
at
what-
Oh,
no,
tipped meats clause?
it sounds like a no for Uncle Sam. So
I did.
lost a major contributor.
What did I do last week? Ribs?
Oh, that's right. We've
Oh,
been
we
on
weren't here
we
last
had a
week.
We weren't here
2-week
last
break.
week. I did
We had a
ribs
2-week
last week.
break.
You did.
Yeah, baby backs. Yeah.
Any sauce or no?
Rub?
Just rub?
No. I use my Smoky John's. Too much ain't enough.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, Smoky John's.
I haven't been down this road.
It's the best barbecue sauce that I've found so far.
Smoky.
I put a
John's.
nice rub on it first, and then I come back with the Smoky John's.
So I did notice one thing. You may
Yeah.
not have cooked over the weekend, but what did you have for dinner yesterday?
Wafu Wong.
What was the Wong's Fu?
Or I'm sorry, Wong's Fu Wong.
Okay, I get a picture from him of a large box in the bed of the pickup
There
truck
were 6 dinners in there.
full of Chinese food from Wong's Fu Wong. So
That's
what,
it.
How many kids you have? 4.
Yes,
So everyone's accounted for.
correct.
Oh yeah.
What
What
was
did
6 dinners?
what'd you have?
I had General Chicken, spicy.
Spicy General Tao.
Any
Oh, yeah.
noodles or no?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't. I mean, Diana had. They had lao mein, vegetable lao mein, and chicken fried rice. Or I'm sorry, vegetable fried rice.
When I used to work over there, do you remember how often we
That Wong Fu was the best.
we'd each get 2?
They give you
entrees?
enough. They give you enough food to choke out 2 people.
Oh yeah, and that's coming from him.
Yeah. I mean, they give you enough to choke out 2 people.
So
I love that place.
How was your weekend?
I love that place.
My weekend was good. I was able to play pickle a couple times. That's all
Did
that
you?
mattered. That's what my life
Pickle?
is now. While I wait for Florida. Yeah.
Who's that dude on the radio in the morning? On the sports radio?
Yeah, it's Mike Stone.
fuck is his-
Mike
yeah, that
Stone.
guy.
He plays
The
a lot
Jewish
of
guy.
pickle, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays pickle. Him and his old lady play pickle.
Until football season, and honestly, the way it's gone, I know it's going to run after football season. I still want to play with you if you ever want to get it going.
Yeah, we need to get a nice picture.
because it's a great fucking workout.
Yeah.
But until football
Is it really?
season, it's incredible workout. You don't even know. I could
What
sit
is it
there
like?
for 4 hours.
Tennis?
Yeah, so it's tennis and ping pong basically. You get a
Oh, shit.
paddle. It's a little bit bigger than a ping pong paddle, and it's not wood. It's typically vinyl
Okay.
or fiberglass, and it's essentially a wiffle ball.
Okay.
And you just crush it. It's big for old people. That's how it caught on. But like now, young people are
So it's like
playing it.
racquetball.
More akin to tennis, and like the movements are similar to tennis and similar to ping pong.
But it's
Okay.
a smaller court. You're not running.
Smaller court.
Okay.
Not as much running, but still good cutting and lateral movements. And what I was going to say was my life lately has been sorted into days where I'm able to play pickle and days where I'm not. And I've gotten really competitive, gotten a lot better. And on days where I don't get to play pickle, and this is going to be until football season, but on days where I don't get to play pickle, I'm just pissed. I'm just pissed off.
Really?
Yeah. I could do it 7 days a week, and I see this as a route to lose weight. But, you know, it's hard. It's hard to find places to play. If it rains and it's outdoors, you can't
Young
play.
people can run and cut.
Yeah.
Old people can't do that stuff.
No, old people are the most dominant ones where I play typically
Really?
because they found a way to play without moving as much. But
like our
now
football.
I'm starting exactly. I'm starting to play with my brother, and we're trying to find ways to make the old people move. We're just still not as good as them because they have a couple years ahead of us, and they put spin on all their balls. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's really addicting.
Well, if it's like a wiffle ball, yeah, oh yeah.
yeah,
With that
you don't.
thing
You're not afraid of the ball.
spinning all over the place.
That being
yeah.
said, this is a little grotesque. On Sunday at St. Clair Shores, we didn't see it happen, but this woman probably fell going for a ball and completely dislocated her elbow. It's the first time. It wasn't compounded, so
Okay.
there wasn't like bone or anything, but her arm was hanging, and she handled it perfectly. She wasn't crying, but as she was walking off the court, and it was kind of hot. It was like a 72-degree morning with some sun. As she was walking off the court, she
Oh, so you played
she
this
passed out.
outside?
Yeah, you played outside for the most
Oh.
part. There's indoor, but it's not as
Okay.
it's harder to do that.
So wait a second. You saw her go down?
Saw her go down right in front of me. Didn't
Wow.
see it happen, but when she
Oh, she
fainted
went out from the
afterwards,
pain?
she fainted when she was walking off the court. And it was
That's like
intense.
Bruce.
That's a rough Sunday morning.
That's
Yeah.
Bruce at the gym.
I played for another hour and a
Works
half
out till he
after that.
passes
but
out.
Everyone was trying to play.
Yeah.
As for my tip meats clause over the last couple weeks, done some steaks, done some ribeyes. They always turn out good. I do everything in the pan. I don't grill any of my steaks because I think you lose the juice and the flavor. But I did do some really good barbecue chicken thighs last week that I was
did,
impressed
eh?
with. Yeah.
Sauce
big
or
thigh
rub,
guy.
or-
Yeah, so first time I did this, I bought a barbecue sauce. It was just simple Truth organic, but I want to step it
Okay.
up with the barbecue sauce. But I threw in cayenne pepper and this Trader Joe's buffalo seasoning that you would throw on rolls
That shit's good.
to give it a bite. It was
Yeah,
excellent.
it's very
And we singed them. You know, you broil them for the last 10 minutes, and I singed them enough to where it had this good like crispy burn barbecue sauce flavor. Threw it over a salad, rock solid,
That's beautiful.
rock solid.
That's a nice.
You need a smoker.
I
Well,
know.
no, listen, I was
I
going to
know.
say, because he likes to do steaks and shit in a pan. You got to go down the Blackstone.
Listen, the
Blackstone.
best way to
Blackstone
do,
is the
and
best
that's
thing I
no
ever bought.
bullshit.
Yeah.
The best way to cook a steak is probably on the Blackstone.
And talk about fried
like a
rice.
giant
you can
pan,
do,
dude.
we can do
Yes.
our own hibachi on the Blackstone.
Correct, yeah.
You know,
It's the best fried rice device.
that
ever.
way the toilet's very close when you need to expel
Right.
the
You don't have
fried
to do
rice
you don't have to do the half-hour
Yeah.
ride home from Benihana.
From Benihana, yeah.
Exactly, where you're clinched in the car.
Yep.
Wow.
Clinched in a car.
You've never had that happen before?
I'm sorry.
You've never
I don't go to Benihana.
You've
dude.
never
I
been
go
to
Wang's
Benihana?
Wah.
You've
Yeah.
never been to Benihana.
No.
I
We're gonna
think-
have to
I
go
think
Wang
we
Wang's
need-
Fu
we
Wah,
need to
you
do
did,
a
I do
tip
know
field
this
trip
about
for
Wang's Fu
Benihana.
Wah. You never eat at the restaurant. You always take it home because you cannot be far from a bathroom.
Yeah.
'Cause as soon as you're
That's-
done eating,
That's
you're,
the same as Benihana.
that's it. You're done.
Okay, tip softball update. So the playoffs are upon us.
Okay.
I'm going to say last Tuesday, we didn't have the best showing, but luckily for us, it's a double elimination playoff. So
what did Bruce do?
you didn't do dick last week, did you?
You get any hits?
Last week?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I did it.
No, he didn't do dick last week.
Why was he high?
Last night he had a hit.
Did he show up high?
No, but I used the bat that I didn't want to use, and I knew exactly where the ball was going to go.
Anyways,
Is that the cork bat you use in your league?
We don't have cork bats.
no cork bats.
No cork bats.
Listen, last night had our first mercy win of the year, 15-3.
No, that's not true because you guys mercied somebody prior to that.
Did we mercy
In the beginning of the year, you guys mercied.
We might have mercied someone
Like your
else.
third game.
I don't remember. We might have mercied someone else.
The third game, you guys mercied somebody.
Yeah,
Second
maybe
or
we did.
third.
Maybe we did.
Anyways,
Was it Firehouse?
we had it.
Maybe it was. I thought I said that.
you
to
guys
yesterday.
did.
We
So
did
I
run
did.
a
I
number.
thought I said that.
You
Hold
guys
on, I'm
told
gonna
me
check
that.
We for sure blew Firehouse out the first
Yeah.
5.
We're checking the report.
But
right
Firehouse is now very good.
Yeah.
And they
Definitely
got some
brought it.
great athletes on their team, and we play Firehouse next week. That's the update. And we lost the first game, but it's double elimination. So we're in win or go home. Our backs are against the wall.
we only beat them 9-4.
Okay, got it.
I'm looking here to see.
I don't know who it would have been.
No, we have not had.
Yeah, I don't think that happened.
You told me you guys were up on somebody huge. Oh, then you gave up a bunch of runs.
Yes, it
My,
was,
my bad. You didn't mercy him.
no,
Yeah, we
that was
actually
our
lost.
first. That was our first mercy of the year.
But
So,
I remember you telling me about that.
playoff win, mercy. We're hot as shit right now. Got it all figured out.
Got it all
Going into
figured
a
out.
Big game next week, and after that, it's going to be a smooth sailing all the way to the ship. Except we're not going to make the our championship game.
Yes.
Realistically, is the semifinal because
Okay.
the problem is with this league there are two teams. There's one team that is vastly better than everybody else. Then there's
Okay.
a second team that's a lot better than everybody else, but we could get lucky and beat.
They have losses, and it's also their first year in the league, but they all have really strong baseball backgrounds. I'm talking about the team that we might be able to beat. But the
Yeah.
team that he had described first, they're good, and they're softball lifers. It feels like they've been doing this forever. They also have great athletes, and they mercy almost every team they play. They haven't lost.
So it's going
They're
to be
tough.
it's
So if we
gonna
make
be
the
fun.
semifinal, I know what you're saying. If we make the
Semifinals our
it'd be great.
championship. I'll take it. If we win the next two games, we're getting a belt.
Yeah.
Belt,
I'll
trophy,
feel good if we
rings.
win the next
I'm,
one.
I'm proud
we
of
win
you.
the
I'm
next
proud of you
game-
guys because I don't think we ever won a fucking game when
We won one
here.
game.
We won
We
one.
won
Did we?
one game and then lost both playoff games, got double eliminated. Anyways,
It sounds great.
let's talk about football. Started off news. Running backs, there are a lot of them unhappy right now. There's a lot to break down here. There's three very big names who are all obviously disgruntled with the running back market. A lot of issues with money. Before we jump into that, a little piece of news that popped up. Leonard Fournette is working out for the Patriots today.
Fits right in with
Oh,
the running
wow.
back. We're talking about running backs. It fits right in.
Oh, yeah.
So
I like that.
that's going to be something to watch for.
I like
because
that.
It's a perfect fit. It's a perfect
Yeah.
fit.
Bill Belichick likes them big backs that have been around.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
him and Stevenson in the backfield together, that's
That's dangerous.
a dangerous backfield.
Oh, I think he'll easily probably win the starting job there.
It depends which
Because
Fournette we get.
I really think they like to use Stevenson as more of a third down guy.
It
like they
depends.
did- like
it
they did
depends
with,
which Fournette we get.
Well, because they lost, what's his name? What was his the guy who was splitting time with Stevenson? He went somewhere else. He was there and went somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm out on that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't.
fuck.
Yeah, my name.
Can't remember
They've
his
had
name.
so
Oh,
many running
Damian
backs.
Harris.
Damian Harris.
Damian
There you
Harris.
go.
They've had so many running backs over the
Oh, I
years.
know.
They cycle through them, which is a really good point to talk about for
They
here.
do cycle through.
They always cycle through them. And you know what team has had the most success in the last 20 years of the NFL?
Recycling
New
running
England
back?
The
Patriots.
Patriots.
Yes.
Correct.
The Patriots.
I mean,
have
yeah.
had the
Think
most
about how
success.
many like flash in the pan backs you've seen in New England. Ridley, Damian Harris 2 years ago. I mean, looked like it was his
Well,
backfield.
I
then
mean, if you
Stevenson
remember
comes
when
in.
they had Corey Dillon, they
Corey
went on
Dillon.
a Super Bowl streak with him.
Yeah, and then he disappeared.
He was
into the
probably
night.
well, no, because he was well into his career. By the time the Patriots picked him up, because he left Cincinnati because they didn't want to pay him.
So you're right. That's a pretty good way to highlight the issue here. running backs are upset that they're not getting paid.
I see some kickers making more than running backs are right now.
Funny enough, the average NFL kicker salary, $2.1 million.
Yeah.
The average NFL running back salary, $1.8 million.
There's
That's
a reason.
ridiculous.
I disagree. I don't think it's ridiculous, and let me tell you why. The teams with good kickers win games.
That's true.
And kickers are always on the line. And when you have a good kicker, you pay him. The Lions lost some of their games because of kickers. And in their era of somewhat goodness, two of the most consistent Lions over the last 3 decades are Jason Hansen and Matt Prater. And they had no issues at kicker except for Sands last year and then a small the last 2 years really, and then a small side of when Jason Hansen retired and they drafted the kid from Boston College, Nate Freeze, and then they eventually brought in Prater. They lucked out and they were able to get Prater in midseason. I disagree on that. Kickers are more consistent and they're more clutch usually. And you want to get into something with money, a nice stat on NFL running backs with money. How many running backs, in the last, I think 10 years, I'd have to go back further. In the last 10 years, how many running backs have made more than $2 million and won the Super Bowl?
Okay,
And won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl. So last year the Chiefs won. There's not a $2 million.
Isaiah Pacheco, who was probably on a rookie deal for under $1 million.
Do it.
Still on his
Rams,
rookie deal. McKinnon.
Maybe.
2 rookies, Cam Akers and what's his name, Darrell Henderson. Those were 2
Gurley.
guys playing on rookie
Todd
deals.
Gurley didn't win a Super Bowl.
Gurley wasn't on that team.
Right.
Who won
Before
before the
that,
Rams?
Tampa.
Was the Bucks. Leonard Fournette took a lot less money to go there.
He did.
And then I think they had a rookie. I think they had the guy from USC there.
Yeah.
Then
Listen, that's a
Chief?
beating, pounding position in football.
Mm-hmm.
And without that, you're one-dimensional. You'll never win anything.
So that's the counter argument. That's the one argument I have to running backs getting paid. The answer to running backs north of $2 million, it's one. It goes back to the Patriots. It was LeGarrette Blount, who still wasn't getting paid much more than $4 or $5 million. Running back is just there's something called supply and demand. And running back is just not a premium position that you need to win games, which is one of the reasons the Lions got knocked for taking.
We've seen a guy drafted in the top 10 this year.
Well, the two that went in the first round this year, Gibbs and Robinson, they could line up anywhere on the field, like your McCaffreys, who's a running back, and Saquon, who I think is a running back that catches balls, and Debo. I think those guys are 3 special examples of why they should get paid because of the versatility they bring to the offense. Whereas this is where the paradigm is shifting in the NFL. If you have a good offensive line, it doesn't matter who you throw at running back or who's playing between the tackles. They should be pretty good, which is one of the reasons the Lions moved on from Jamal Williams. He was asking for a lot more than what he was capable of. Now the Lions have a guy that's significantly better than what they had before in between the tackles, and therefore they're expecting more production on that position. The Lions thought they left yards on the table last year, and yeah, he led the league in touchdowns, Jamal Williams did, but they were expecting more out of that position in goal situations. So you don't need a premium running back anymore. That's just the way the league is now. And a lot of the times, the best running back on some of these teams is the quarterback.
That's also
That's just the new regime of offenses being brought into the league.
But that's also why the running backs don't fit into these new offenses.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not getting paid. Now, I think Saquon, and I said this before a few weeks ago, I think Saquon should have gotten paid. I think it's a different case with Josh Jacobs, who might be the best between the tackles. It's him or Jonathan Taylor might be the 2 best guys in between the tackles. But if you're more of a pass-catching back and you're lining up in the slot, you're lining out wide or whatever, that's a different story. And those guys should get paid because they're looked at almost like as receivers. They're important in the receiver room as well. But if we're talking about investing in a position where you're in between the tackles and you get frequently injured, I understand why the teams are not going to do it. Now, and I want to hear what you have to say, Uncle Sam. You are right when these guys are getting the shit kicked out of them. That's a whole different topic altogether. At that point, we're talking about why NFL players in general don't get guaranteed money, number one. And number two, with running back in particular, when guys get awarded a second contract, and a great example of this is Le'Veon Bell. When they get their big extension or whatever down the road, they tend not to produce as time goes on. Running backs as rookies, there should be a way higher pay scale for rookie running backs and on their initial deal so they can take advantage of the most money possible right off the bat because that's when they're most productive is off the rip. When you start getting on the other end of 27, 28, I mean, by 29, these guys are toast. They're either not producing anymore, they're really injured, or they're just sick of doing it. So everything needs to change with how running backs are paid, in my opinion. But also, the teams are right to not pay these guys because by the time they're paying them, their production starts to decline. It's just a fact. And that's why this is happening. Why should I invest X into Josh Jacobs if I know in 3 or 4 years he's not going to be nearly as productive, number one? And number two, he can get injured. At any game, he could be toast. And I think that's why these guys aren't getting paid.
I think
you start seeing the Deebo Samuel didn't like the way he was being used, thought he was being overused and underpaid as a receiver trying to play a running back position. So that's the blunt end of that. So if you're going to bring a guy in like Deebo Samuel, that you're going to line him up all over the field as a running back, as a receiver, tight end, whatever, fullback, this guy's saying, well, I'm doing a job of 2 positions, I want more money. What's the difference between a running back doing that and a receiver doing that? Receivers make fucking anywhere from 8 to 10 million more than running backs.
It's a passing league now, though.
That's kind of bullshit.
This is what I'll say. It's because you have a very, very good point there. But how many running backs in the league deserve to get paid like wide receivers?
Does Christian McCaffrey deserve?
Yes,
absolutely,
100%. He's the top of the list,
and I think that's it.
And for a lot of years, you had a guy in New England, White,
James White.
Yes,
but now
you're basically a receiver playing running back.
He's completely ineffective as a running back.
Fair, but he
you can do both. There you go. Your guy in San Diego.
Yes,
Austin
Eckler is on that list.
Is a receiver.
McCaffrey.
But here's Austin Eckler's problem is why his numbers are nowhere near McCaffrey's because he went undrafted. So I mean, his rookie deal was absolute garbage.
Yeah, that was
and he did all the production after Melvin Gordon.
Correct.
Exactly.
And McCaffrey's production, if everybody remembers, he was injured for 3 straight years.
McCaffrey deserves to be paid as a receiver. Outside of him, I agree.
Derrick Henry?
Saquon.
Derrick Henry doesn't.
Saquon and Eckler. I don't think Derrick Henry deserves the money that he's been getting. I think he's on the decline.
Really?
And I think he's also on the fringe.
100%.
Now, before, Derrick Henry did deserve the money. And that's
correct.
This is a common problem in all of sports, is that young guys don't get paid when they should. And then by the time they do get their deals, you're regretting it because they're old and not able to produce like they were. So in real time, you should get paid. And there's always been a bigger picture problem in the NFL that they don't have guaranteed contracts. Every other sport has guaranteed contracts. The NBA, a guy that doesn't leave the bench might get $15 million a year, which is what Saquon Barkley's asking for.
Right.
You know? And NFL players put their bodies on the line. They're the most injured. They deserve more guaranteed money than any other sport. Hockey also, they have guaranteed money and they're not paid enough. But regardless, the NFL, of course, certain positions get paid a certain way. But
they're just afraid of that guarantee.
Doesn't make any sense.
People start talking guaranteed contracts, they don't want nothing to do with it.
You're starting to see it now. Aaron Rodgers has one. I think Deshaun Watson got one, and Lamar Jackson got one. You're starting to see a lot of guaranteed contracts now, which is how it should be.
They get guaranteed money. The full contract's not guaranteed.
Yeah,
wanted.
No, those guys are getting their full contracts, but 99% of the rest of the NFL, they don't get it. I mean, a lot of the guys do hit all their incentives, but it's really hard to hit all your incentives.
Right.
And they're never for a lot. They're never for more than $1 million, the incentives, every year. So I think that's the problem, is these guys aren't getting enough guaranteed money, and they're not getting enough money up front when they should be paid.
That's actually a really good point. I mean, you have Bijan Robinson number this year. I think he's the 8th highest paid running back in all of football.
Which is how it should be.
And he's a rookie.
Correct. He's getting paid as a rookie, which a lot of these guys did not get. You know what I mean?
Well, the rookie cap starts at what, 28 million or
yeah,
something like that?
And it's different for
And
different
it kinda
positions
dwindles
also.
down.
It's different for where you got drafted, and then on top of that, what position you play. They should completely raise the rookie cap for running backs, just for running backs. That should be elevated because you should be compensated accordingly for how you're playing.
If you're a kid coming out of high school, okay, and you're a very good football player. Why would you even bother playing fucking running back? I would be like, put me at receiver.
That's an argument I heard recently.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know you have something to say. That's an argument I heard recently. It's like, why there's going to be a drop off in running backs? Well, no, there's still poor kids from the hood that are going to go end up playing running back. But yeah, you might see a drop off in quality because guys are going to want to play a different position.
Correct.
Out of every
Well, you've seen that already with receiver too, though. Guys that are big, long, fast dudes are playing tight end now.
two things that I've just noticed that I thought were interesting. Out of all active running backs, as far as career earnings go, where do you think Bijan Robinson ranks? Out of all active running backs,
He hasn't played yet.
correct. So where
I
do you
have no
think he
idea.
ranks? He's 25th.
All time.
Out of
Active,
all
active running backs.
active running
Okay.
backs.
So that's factoring in, like, you have guys that are getting like their second and third deals with teams. And that's like, I'm sure he's the highest. Of course, he's the highest up of the rookies, and he might be getting paid more than last year's rookies on top of that.
Well, because him and Barkley were drafted high.
Mm-hmm.
He's $400,000 behind Tony Pollard for career earnings.
Okay.
And Tony Pollard's going into his fifth season. He is $300,000 above Gus Edwards, who is going into his seventh season. As far as all-time guys go, there have been $1,200 million career earning receivers all-time in the NFL. Do you know how many running backs?
Receivers
there
or
have been?
running backs?
There's been 12 running backs, $100 million running backs. Do you know how many, or excuse me, $1,200 million receivers?
Okay.
Do you know how many running backs there have been?
Zero.
Career 100 million?
Zero.
Yeah, my guess is zero.
One.
Okay, wait,
Adrian
hold on.
Peter-
Oh,
Adrian
Sorry.
Peterson?
Yeah.
Sorry, I botched that.
and that,
I
and that
forgot
makes
he
sense.
played for as
and that
long
makes
as he
sense
did.
because he was
15 years.
effective enough later in his career where he was still getting
decent
deals
money.
while he was still playing
Right.
because
Yeah.
he was getting rewarded for how his production was in real time.
Yeah,
You know?
until he
And
went to the Cardinals and lost his mind.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're talking a massive, massive drop off from Adrian Peterson career earnings, $103 million. Number two,
For running backs,
yeah, all time.
I'm going to go out.
Smith?
This is a random limb. I'm going to say Reggie Bush.
No. Any guesses?
Emmett Smith?
Ezekiel Elliott, $71 million.
Really?
Yeah, and this
Second
was,
all-time.
His holdout was
And he's
like
still a free agent.
his holdout was a big deal. Like he was trying to break records in real time, and he had a lot going for him. The national championship at Ohio
Absolutely.
State, the Ohio State hype, played for the Dallas Cowboys. They were high on him from day one, and I don't think he should have been compensated. Like he didn't catch passes, and he started to drop off as soon as he got that money, and he was unhealthy.
So
he's the control of the experiment. He's the example.
Right. And McCaffrey's fourth all time already. McCaffrey, but the messed up part about this is Adrian Peterson made $103 million in 15 seasons. It's a $33 million drop off down to Zeke. There's definitely there's something to be said about this here. I from a front office standpoint and from a I'm in charge of this team and I got to do what's best for this team standpoint, it don't make any sense to pay these guys. But from there,
I think what the Lions and the Falcons did this year was fucking genius.
That's the model. They're not the only ones that are doing that. You get younger
they are
running
now.
back.
I mean, when have you seen
It's
two
gonna
running
keep
backs
happening.
going in the first round?
It's going to keep happening.
It is.
It's going
Right.
to be very frequent. Now, it doesn't even necessarily mean first round. It means go get your running back while they're young. If you see
Correct.
a good running back, take them. It's not going to hurt you, especially if they're good. You're going to look good if they're playing for 4 or 5 years under a rookie deal. Now,
Right.
that's where the running backs are fighting back. There's a group text, and all of the running backs, even the paid ones like McCaffrey and the ones that have gotten Jonathan Taylor, they're making noise. And I think it's going to come to a head at some point. But I think the head is the NFL is going to compensate running backs accordingly. Now, does that mean teams start taking running backs late? I don't know, whatever. But I think they're going to compensate running backs accordingly in the form of paying them more up front and making sure they're making more money on their rookie deals so they're protected down the road in case they're injured. But I think there's a compromise because I don't think the Raiders are going to be too affected if Jonathan Taylor holds out, and he will. And he's the
Or
second
Jacobs?
best. Yeah, Jacobs. The Colts with Jonathan Taylor and Jacobs with the Raiders. I think Saquon is a massive factor in the Giants' offense, just like I think McCaffrey and Debo are massive factors in the 49ers' offense, and I think Eckler is a massive factor in the Chargers' offense. So when you look at it under that scope, what do you do for me now? Those guys deserve to get paid because their team looks completely different without them. Okay, but I don't think the Raiders look different without Jacobs. I don't think the Colts
What these
look
teams
different without Taylor.
what the teams should do themselves is real simple. Make running back salaries bonus, make it up in bonuses where they don't get paid. If you hit 1,200 yards, if you hit 1,500 yards, if you have 15 touchdowns,
That's a really good compromise.
Do it that way. Compensate them that way. Then
they're already getting compensated with incentives, but it's just at scale. But give them absurd incentives, like load their contracts with incentives, make some really crazy incentives. So only
that's
are they
what I would
motivated
do
to
with
play,
these guys, because then by the time that they're coming up for their next contract, are they still healthy? Are they still productive? And if they're not productive, then you pull some. You got to put the bonuses in and make them hit their mark. This is why these guys are out there risking their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do it. They need to be compensated for it.
It's-
Me personally, if I was a running back, I'd be fucking pissed.
It's not the most important position to play, but it's arguably the toughest. Those are some of the toughest guys on the team. And I'm off topic here. I just want to end with this. I want to get this one last blurb in. After these guys sign their extensions that we can think of, we could try and brainstorm this right now. Some of the guys that did get their massive extensions, how many of them have gone on to win something?
Well,
and how many fizzled out immediately after getting that extension?
So it's actually really, really funny you said that, because this is what I was looking at, and I have the list of active players, like I just said, Bijan 25, active players at running back, sorted by career earnings. McCaffrey hasn't won anything. Henry hasn't won anything. Saquon hasn't won anything. Kamara hasn't won anything. All those guys got paid.
Correct.
And then after that, you have Cordero Patterson at 5. I mean,
hasn't won anything in almost every stop.
I think he might have got did he get a ring with the Patriots?
I think he did.
Did he?
I think he did.
I think he did.
But that's
he wasn't
the guy.
a role player, and it wasn't after getting a big deal.
Correct. He hasn't gotten a big deal.
Like,
David Johnson after he got the big deal.
Yeah,
fell off.
Le'Veon Bell was out of the league within. I mean, he wasn't out of the
Within
league.
2
but
years, he was
within
out
2
of-
years, he was nothing.
I mean, Nick Chubb got paid pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't won anything.
And then another example of the model that's working for teams is Joe Mixon just took a very effective and a consistent running back just took a massive pay cut
Absolutely.
in order to make sure Joe Burrow gets a massive contract.
Yeah.
That's what the league is thinking. That's what the general managers are thinking. You know, that's what I'm looking for. I want a running back who's consistent.
Look what you got. Look what you had in the Super Bowl last year.
That's
had
that's
two
the
teams.
whole point.
2 teams with
Committee
running
running
back by
backs,
committee.
a lot of guys on rookie deals, and
Correct.
and they're good running backs, but they don't do that much, and they're never going to be lucrative running backs. And they were both really good teams,
Right.
And they both had running quarterbacks. Like Mahomes, not as much, but they both had running quarterbacks, and their offense flowed through their pass catchers.
Yep.
You ready for a messed up stat here?
Please.
Jameer Gibbs has higher career earnings than Jonathan Taylor.
The scale's rising.
drafted
and
higher.
the salary cap
He was
rising.
drafted higher.
He was
Jonathan
a lot
Taylor
higher.
was
And he was
drafted
drafted higher.
till
Correct. But I mean, my
he a
God.
second round pick.
Jonathan Taylor's 41st pick.
Yeah, he was the beginning of the
he was
second
the
round.
second round.
That's the draft the Lions took DeAndre Swift in, by the way. They passed on
Yeah,
Jonathan
they
Taylor
should've.
for Swift.
That's
They should have took Jonathan Taylor over Swift.
Yeah.
I
you know,
would have.
and I guess if you're a running back and you see it from the standpoint of like Joey Bosa has been in the league, it's a 1-year difference from Ezekiel Elliott, and made $60 million more.
Then Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
That's just
So
tight.
if you're a running back
what
looking at
what
it,
position?
I mean,
What positions garnish the most money outside quarterback?
Tackles and DNs.
yeah.
DNs and
It's
tackles.
it's the
That's
two,
fact.
the two
It's
edges.
offensive and defensive line.
Yeah.
It's all about pressure, man.
So all this money talk actually leads us very nicely into our next topic today, and that is a topic of none other than former Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford. And him
We
and
really got to talk about him.
well, him and his
What?
Rams aren't
What,
getting
his
along.
wife leave him
all
for some
too-
dude? She ain't going nowhere. He's made $300 million. She ain't going anywhere.
I
Not
agree.
getting along all
Weirdo.
too well. So here's the story. Matt Stafford has been an extremely well compensated quarterback.
Give us his rankings, will you please?
So all time quarterbacks, not active, all-time quarterbacks. Venture to guess who the number one highest earning quarterback of all time is.
Tom Brady.
Number 2.
Peyton Manning.
Nope.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Number
Okay.
2. And number 3 is Matthew Stafford.
Jesus Christ.
Having
He's 3
earnings,
all time.
he's third all
God.
time with $300.8 million earnings. So
200 of that came from the Lions.
yeah,
So that goes back. His first contract was, I think, a year or maybe 2 before the rookie pay scale came out.
It was 75 million. 70 of it was guaranteed.
So it was
Something
big.
Stupid like that.
It was big. The
Right.
deal he got after that was big, and I think did Bob Quinn give him that deal? I think he did.
I can't
Regardless, he
remember.
may have gotten 2 big deals from Martin Mayhew, and then another big deal from Bob Quinn.
so I think the big elephant in the room here was this exact thing that I'm going to bring up. If you fast forward this to the end of the 2023 season, Stafford jumps from 3rd to 2nd on the list, passing Tom Brady. Rodgers jumps both of them and goes up to
How
number
the
1.
fuck did he pass Tom Brady? And the guy Tom Brady played for
Different
22
era.
At the
Different
end
era.
of the
24
year,
years.
Guys were getting paid. Stafford got paid 30 plus.
Right.
Go ahead, Sam.
At
Oh.
the end of this year, Stafford will have made $360 million.
Tom Brady's got to throw up in his own mouth at night thinking about that.
Well, Tom Brady won games and was therefore able to get crazy.
Right.
endorsements
And
that
you know
were worth
what?
anything
Tom Brady
Stafford
also
brought
took
to
pay cuts for years. So they were able to put the talent around him too.
So this is something that I've noticed about this. Obviously, Stafford got his big Super Bowl win, and congratulations to him. And I want to hear Zolo's take on this here in a second. Obviously, Brady's at the top. He won a whole lot. Rodgers been in the league for 18 years, multiple MVPs, only has one
three
ring to show
MVPs.
for it. Okay, Matt Stafford, one ring to show for it. Matt
no,
Ryan,
no
sitting-
MVPs. No MVPs and
MVPs.
one ring to show for it.
Matt Ryan sitting up here at 4th.
How about that same draft class? I'm sure Joe Flacco's up there, right?
So we have here. I'll go through the 10, 15 real quick. Brady, Rodgers, Stafford, Ryan, Drew Brees, Roethlisberger, Eli.
He has 2 Super Bowls. He has
Eli
2
made
Super
more money
Bowls.
than Peyton. That's fucked up.
Honestly,
I
Eli.
knew that.
Again, different eras. They got drafted
Correct.
4 or 5 years
Yeah.
apart. No, Peyton was 97.
04.
So they got drafted 7
Peyton
years
was
apart.
98. Eli was
And
04.
honestly, who you got more memories of, Eli or Peyton? Low key, on field moments. I got more memories of Eli Manning making big plays in big games than Peyton.
I have
did.
more heartbreak from Eli.
I got this from Peyton Manning. He broke Dan Marino's records.
Yeah,
He
fair.
was the first one to break Marino's
And they've all been
records.
broken since then. I mean, Brady.
Right. Well,
and
Brady broke them
Breeze
afterwards,
broke 'em.
but I'm just saying.
It's fair.
At 9 is Phillip Rivers.
40 years. 40 years it took these guys to break his records.
10 and
40
11.
years.
10 and 11 are Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins. 12th is Alex Smith.
God, Kirk Cousins.
Kirk
is on that
Cousins?
list. Jesus.
Kirk Cousins
Christ.
is on that? You know why? That's what them guys get for franchising him every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have fucking signed him
And then
instead
you
of
got a
franchising
massive
him.
deal from the Vikings.
Flacco's
I know.
13th. I just found him.
13th.
With Carson Palmer and Ryan Tannehill behind him.
Ryan.
Wow. Carson Palmer.
Ryan
Ryan
Tannehill.
Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill is the 15th
What the
highest
fuck?
earning quarterback of
He's
all
not
time.
even going to be a
You want
starter
to know
this
what?
year.
Okay, so this is what kind of fucks me up about this. You've got some garbage up here. Besides
bunch of
Stafford,
garbage.
you've got a bunch of garbage.
Well, it's modern quarterbacks, and quarterbacks get paid. They get paid. now.
Quarterbacks get paid. Well, granted, there is a massive difference between Stafford at 3 and at 300 million, and Ryan Tannehill at 15 at 160 million.
Ryan Tannehill ain't worth fucking
160
$6 million, let alone
$169
$100 million.
My Lord.
How the fuck does he have $100 million?
169.
Who
million.
was he blowing to get this kind of fucking money?
He's above Favre. Favre's underneath him.
And I'll tell you what, Favre put his dues in. My man was addicted to codeine. He was addicted to painkillers.
He's going to jail.
He's
now,
done
too.
it all.
Anyways, your thoughts on the Stafford not restructuring to help out his team?
Yeah. Were you guys doing this show when they won the Super Bowl? When the
Yes,
Rams won the Super Bowl?
we
Okay.
were. There's a lot of Stafford hate on this show.
Yeah, I want. Here, let me look at the camera for this. Okay. I don't hate Matthew Stafford. Never did. At the moment, until Jared Goff inevitably wins that playoff game, maybe this year, hopefully, cross your fingers. At the moment, it's not Bobby Lane. It's not whoever, Scott Mitchell. I don't even know who else there is.
Rodney Pete.
We could do this all day.
Eric
Charlie
Kramer.
Batch, Eric Kramer, Eric Hipple. We can go on.
Andre
Dante
Ware.
Culpepper.
Dante Culpepper.
Andre Ware.
Jeff
John
Garcia,
Kitna.
John Kitna.
Gary Danielson.
Who else? Sean Hill.
Did you say Joey already?
Yeah, I think someone.
Who's the
said
guy
Joey
who ran
Harrington,
out of the
right?
back of the end zone for the safety?
That was
Dan Orlovsky.
Dan
Dan
Orlovsky.
Orlovsky.
It's not any of them. Matthew Stafford is by far the best quarterback this franchise has ever seen in Detroit.
Fully agree.
That being said, from there,
Hold on.
you got someone better? Can you think of someone better?
I'm
he has all the
gonna
franchise
I'm gonna
records.
say this. Matthew Stafford, for his tenure, I'm not even gonna count the more years he was here.
Mm-hmm.
He had one of the best wide receivers ever to play the fucking
He
game.
had the best wide receiver ever
Correct.
in the game. Calvin Johnson is the
In a
best.
pass-based offense.
It'll get better, but Calvin Johnson is the best receiver to ever play football, in my opinion. Freak.
I think he was a super freak.
Yeah.
I do. And I'm gonna say this. I think he's the biggest underachiever that I had ever seen.
I was getting there.
Listen to me. Stafford's the best quarterback Lions have ever had. It's not even close.
Yeah, you agree with that,
No,
right?
he
He's the
holds
best
every
quarterback in
fucking record there is.
He's the best quarterback
By
in the
leaps
history of
and
the
bounds.
franchise.
He's the third best player in franchise history.
Fair. Yeah, it's Barry Sanders,
and I'm a
Calvin
big
Johnson,
Eric
Matthew
Hipple guy.
Stafford.
Done.
I was a big Gary Danielson guy. I thought Gary Danielson was really
Fair.
good.
My point is, though, while he was here,
Yeah.
they won a lot of games that he carried them for. There were a lot, but they lost a lot of games in spite of Stafford. They lost a ton of games. And, like, as much as I want to, it could both be true that Dallas playoff game back in 2015 was lost by the officials, but it was also lost by Stafford. He had
Yeah.
the ball in his hand.
How many times is he going to throw a
Had
pick,
the ball
pick
is
six
in his hand
out of the
in
half?
his hometown. If you're a good quarterback, when you have the ball in your hands, you should win, regardless of playmakers. And he had the playmakers. He had Pettigrew. He had Nate Burleson at that point in time, or Golden Tate.
Eh.
I will say this about Pettigrew.
Stafford.
I've never
Calvin
seen a
Johnson.
guy who looks like he runs in quicksand more than he did.
And Ebron,
That fucking guy he was the
Can't catch a
slowest
ball
fucking
either.
guy I've ever seen.
I think Ebron might have been on that team. I don't remember. Regardless, you can't look at it like that because Pettigrew made a lot of plays for this team. He had Tony Sheffler. and-
Here's the basis I go with the Ebron deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He was here. He dropped a lot of fucking big balls here.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that about him. He dropped a lot of key
Stafford does throw
passes here.
pretty,
Hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done. He goes to
Pittsburgh.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
And what does he do? He goes to a fucking Pro Bowl.
I agree with that.
First year with a guy of Andrew Luck. Now, come on, dude. When you have a fucking real
That
quarterback
didn't
thrown
last
to you,
long for him.
it's a different animal. It's a different fucking animal. Matt Stafford is over fucking rated coming out of college. Who he couldn't complete 60% of his passes. He was fucking, it was a joke. He was over fucking rated. And the Lions gave him the fucking kingdom for 10 years here. 10 years. And the guy couldn't fucking win.
Well-
He averaged 2 turnovers a game. And he could never fucking win the game.
It's hard to better the quarterback position, so I understand that because he was a top 10 quarterback. This is where it gets tricky for me. I thought it was ignorant for any Lions fan to want Stafford to win when he had chances on really good teams here to win, and he didn't do it, number one. Number two, it affected their draft compensation if he won. So the fact that everyone's like, yeah, go Rams, Stafford, I'm happy for him. He's the best quarterback. I don't give a shit if he gave it his all here. I don't care if he dislocated his shoulder. He didn't win here. He didn't do it. And he didn't do it because he just wasn't good enough to. They didn't win. The Rams didn't win that Super Bowl because of Matthew Stafford. That
Todd
same
Gurley.
team, could have won with Jared Goff. And you're seeing it now.
That defense
Sean
was
McVay,
that they had an elite
I'm getting
defense.
There. I'm getting there.
Elite defense.
And still, they still needed to get Von Miller in the middle of the year to make it elite. And Von Miller was better than Aaron Donald in that Super Bowl. Better than Aaron Donald. And they still need it. They're not getting there without Odell. Odell made massive plays in the playoffs.
And if he hadn't gotten hurt, they would have blew them out.
I agree. I agree.
If Odell Beckham didn't go down in that Super Bowl, they
Odell
would have blew him
should have
out.
been the MVP of that Super Bowl, even though he died in the first half. He was way more prominent on the field in that first quarter than Cooper Kupp was. Cooper Kupp made a play, whatever. I get it, fair. Stafford had a lot of weapons, but in my opinion, Sean McVay's some guru. How did the Lions crack Jared Goff and make him look like the first overall pick? And they couldn't do it with Stafford because Stafford wasn't that great. He had a lot of pieces around him.
Why do you think they're trying to dump him? You just seen why. Why.
We didn't get to that. Sam didn't mention that. He mentioned number one, that they asked him to restructure his deal, and he said no, as is his right to do. I would never say yes to that.
I would never take less money unless I knew I was going to be there for a while.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no fucking way.
I agree. This is the twilight of his career. He's probably not going anywhere else after this, number one. But number two, what Sam didn't mention is that the Rams tried extremely hard to trade Stafford before his roster exemption kicked in. So even they're done with him. Even Sean McVay, who was hyping him up, we met up in Mexico. It just worked out. He's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen sling it, this and that. Well, now Sean McVay is trying to dump him and trying to move on. And drafted another Georgia boy that could easily usurp Stafford this
Stetson
year.
Bennett.
Stetson Bennett, baby. So
Stetson Bennett. I love Stetson Bennett.
I love Stafford. I loved everything he did for this franchise. It took until him leaving for me to see how much he left on the table and how much the Lions would have really needed to sunk in resources to make him win, because the Rams, they're not going to the Super Bowl. They may not even be winning that division. That division came down to the last week with, I think, the Cardinals, who choked. The Rams beat the Cardinals in the last week and then beat them again at the beginning of the playoffs, because the Cardinals won the division, if I remember correctly. No, because the Rams had a home playoff game, so no. But yeah, the Rams won the division the last week and then beat the Cardinals.
Correct.
And, the Cardinals just choked, so the Rams backed into the playoffs, because the Rams lost their last game, if I remember correctly. So they backed into the playoffs. It took Von Miller somehow getting pulled away midseason, and it took Odell Beckham getting pulled away midseason for the Rams to win that Super Bowl. They still couldn't get it done with Jalen Ramsey, with Cooper Kupp, with Aaron Donald. They still couldn't get it done with all of those guys.
He had a good team here. He had a very good team here.
2014
Dominican Zoo was in his prime.
The 2014 team was the most complete Lions team that I've ever seen. They had a Pro Bowl linebacker in DeAndre Levy. They had Sue, who was one of the most dominant defenders ever. They had Darius Slay. They were really good. And then we're not even talking about what they had on offense, which, if I remember correctly, was...
So they go down to New Orleans.
Yep.
They go down to New Orleans to play the Saints.
Mm-hmm. No, that was Dallas. The 14-year was Dallas. 11 was New Orleans. 11
I'm
was
talking
New Orleans.
before that.
Yep.
I'm talking when they went to play New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And Jabari Evans and that other guard from New Orleans, they dominated Zoo. And who was the other kid?
Fairley.
Nick
Bosch
Fairley
was still on that defense.
And if you remember what happened in that game, they were in that fucking game. They come out, second half, he throws a pick six. And from then on, it was just a fucking nightmare. It was an utter nightmare. They gave up 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they were in that game. He come out, throw a pick six. The Dallas game you're talking about, that we thought it was basically lost on a penalty. Yes and no, because they came out.
Both
second
can be
half,
true.
He throws another pick six.
Both can be true. They could have lost on a penalty and lost.
They almost scored.
Your point's not lost.
Yeah. So at what point does he not be held accountable? He was never held accountable in Detroit. He had a guaranteed fucking job. Didn't worry about anybody coming behind him for 10 years.
Before we get to what you want to say, I want to piggyback real quick, and I've already said it. If you're a good quarterback, and I think Stafford was a good quarterback, but if you're a good quarterback and you have the ball in your hands with a chance to win the game, especially a playoff game, that's what separates you from everyone else. And he won a lot of games, the fake spike against Dallas, the Cleveland one. He did a lot of great things here. But when it counted most, he couldn't get it done against Tony Romo in a really lackluster
Tony fucking Romo, who is on one, he couldn't even run anymore because of his back.
Yeah.
He couldn't bend over to touch his toes.
I think they moved on next year. I think Dak was next year or 2 years later.
Well, he went down hurt. If you remember, he went down
it was
hurt.
In the preseason. His first game of the preseason, yeah.
Yeah.
Never came back. Or he came back, but he never played again.
No.
What do you think?
I have a couple things to toss in here. Matthew Stafford has made an obscene amount of money. And if you compare 4 quarterbacks that I think a lot of people would look at and say are lesser NFL players than Matthew Stafford is, like, for example, all right, I'm going to pull out some examples here. There is a quarterback who's currently in the league who has been to 4 Pro Bowls. Matt Stafford has been to 1. That's Derek Carr, who makes substantially less than Matthew Stafford.
Always has.
Always has. The outlier for Stafford here, if you compare him to pretty much anybody else outside of your absolute GOATs, is the passing yards, which is, again, Calvin Johnson. I mean, if we sit here and we give Matt Ryan had more passing yards than Matthew Stafford.
Now, Matt Ryan, really, outside of Julio Jones, who did he have to fucking throw
He
to?
had Julio Jones. I'll give him that. But Joe Flacco is 7,000 yards
all right.
behind Stafford.
Correct.
And their careers, Flacco had a 1-year shorter career.
Right.
If we take completion percentage between Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill, Joe Flacco, and Matt Stafford's, guess who's at the bottom?
Matt Stafford.
Thank you. This is a hard pill for me to swallow. Matt Ryan, yards per attempt, higher than Stafford. Ryan Tannehill, yards per attempt, higher than Matthew Stafford. Stafford's got everybody besides Matt Ryan beat out in touchdowns, but he also has everybody beat out outside of Flacco. Everybody beat out. No.
Interceptions?
He has more interceptions than Flacco, Carr, Tannehill, and Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
He averaged
QBR.
He had averaged 2 turnovers per game for his entire
This
career.
one's going to mess you up. QBR. Matt Ryan, 93.6. Derek Carr, 92.8. Ryan Tannehill, 91.9. Matt Stafford, 89.9. So I have and he's at the twilight of his career. He, for all intents and purposes, broke his neck last year. If I were him, yeah, I'm handing the big fuck you to the Rams. I'm taking as much money as I can. I'm heading out the fucking door because this is it for him. This is it.
I agree. Listen, I don't think he should give anything back.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't think
But
anyone should ever give anything
the
back.
Rams,
No, I don't either.
If I was the Rams, I'm waiting until realistically for the Rams, I know we're kind of in between on what they're going to do this year. I think Stafford's checked out. I think they're going to probably be a 500 to maybe 1 win above team. If I'm them, I'm waiting for the first quarterback to go down. I am giving up Matt Stafford for anything that I can return. I'm licking my wounds. I'm saying we gave up a ton of capital to win that 1 Super Bowl, and I'm entering into the Caleb Williams sweepstakes because it's over.
They don't need
for him.
Caleb Williams.
Plays right in your backyard.
They
It's
don't need
over
Caleb Williams. They got Stetson Bennett.
Or let's give give
Stetson
the
Bennett's
reins to
got
Stetson
2
Bennett.
national championships.
Yeah.
I mean,
all he does is win.
All he's done is win.
I'm
Win and
that's-
drink beer.
I mean,
Drunk and disorderly.
if you're in a situation where, like, I'm kind of surprised that a team like Tennessee wouldn't be more in on thinking about Stafford or Tampa Bay.
I'll tell you why
or-
no one's going to think about Stafford. His contract will cripple any team that takes him on. So you have to give up assets to get someone to take Stafford on, and it's going to be a bad team that's going to draft a rookie and wants to bridge the rookie. That's the candidate for Stafford. And I don't think you're going to see that because his deal is just so not team friendly.
I don't want to just sound like all I'm doing is beating this guy up. He came here. This was not a good fucking place.
No.
And when he had come here, this
franchise
place
around.
was fucking horrible. He's been through more coordinators probably than fucking anybody. And you know what? He's been through more coaches than probably just about anybody. You know. And did he get help from the front office here? No, he did. But at one point, they had a very good team here. They could have moved forward. He just wasn't good enough to fucking seal the deal. That's the bottom line. Now, I just don't want to make it sound like I'm totally pounding the guy because obviously he's been successful in the league. He won a fucking Super Bowl, even though it was an elite defense. He won. So, you know what? Trent Dilfer also won a Super Bowl. That's all I'm going to fucking say.
When I was making the show notes, I literally mentioned Dilfer's name in there because that could be. I don't think Stafford is Dilfer bad, but he's more of the Dilfer quarterback.
No, I don't think he's.
He's more of the Dilfer Flacco quarterback than he is. The Brady.
I agree.
Breeze.
I agree. He's nowhere near what Brady's and Rodgers and the other guys were. He's nowhere near that. And I know his numbers might say that, but the numbers are imploded because of the game, how it's changed in the last 15 years.
Well, obviously he's not Trent Dilfer, but realistically, when Matthew Stafford retires, who will his comps be? Outside of money made, who will his comps be?
He's not a pro or a Hall of Famer.
No.
And there's a very real chance.
But you know what? You know what? His numbers are good enough to get into the Hall. That's the problem.
Outside
That's
of
the problem.
passing yards, they're not.
He smashes all these guys in
I don't know
passing
if he has much lesser. Much better players that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame are not in the Hall of Fame.
How many 5,000-yard seasons did he have? Like 3 or 4?
He had 3 or 4, and that was his first one. I mean, I think there were 3 that year, but his first one was it was rare. 5,000-yard seasons don't happen now. Like 10 quarterbacks, not 10, but
I
a good
agree.
amount of them are putting up
everything
5,000
you're
yards
saying
now. So that statistic, and I know there's another game, but that's watered down. But
Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl wins over the New England Patriots. Is he a Hall of Famer?
You're asking the wrong person. I actually do think Eli is a Hall of Famer.
I think Eli is also a Hall of Famer.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. Maybe not first ballot, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's got 2
Super Bowl MVPs.
Okay.
He got it done in the biggest game there is.
Yeah,
Correct.
twice.
And can I ask
And there's not many guys that have done that.
Yeah.
If you go back and think about that Giants team, I mean,
they were a 6 seed, the one that beat the 08 Patriots, who was
But
the best.
if you
team
remember,
ever.
they're deep. Both of those teams
outside of Michael
that beat the
Strahan,
Patriots, they were 9-8.
But he made the plays. Eli made the plays. David
They were 6
Tyree,
seeds.
and then the one that came after it, and then in the other Super Bowl against the Patriots, it was the guy from Michigan. It was,
The catch for Manningham on the sideline was fucking beautiful.
Exactly. There's
That
two,
that was the nicest throw I have ever seen in a Super Bowl.
yeah. And it
I
may
was
be
just
more
like, wow.
It may be more David Tyree, but for me, that's the most memorable play in this. It's that and then Marshawn fumbling.
Those
those
are
are the two.
fluke plays.
Yeah.
hold on.
agree.
I mean, right here. Well, you want to break this one down? Eli versus Stafford. Eli has 2 rings, 4 Pro Bowls, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah. That's good enough to
Stafford
make the
has
Super.
one-
That's good enough to make
one
Hall of
ring and
Fame.
one
That's
Pro
first
Bowl.
ballot Hall of Fame.
Right? Okay. I mean, granted, Eli has played in 30 more games, but Eli has 5,000 more passing yards. Played
Which
at a little
Stafford could
different
pass
time.
that in 1 year
But will he? Are we at the
if he
point?
continues to play.
Do you think Stafford could? Do you think Stafford's thrown for 5,000 yards this year?
No.
No.
With
No.
the receivers he's got.
Eli has 30 more touchdowns.
Okay.
Eli also has an obscene amount more interceptions, and Stafford does have him in QBR and rushing situations. But no, I mean,
But he didn't beat the best team that's been in football for 15
Correct.
straight years.
He didn't.
So, you know what? And Eli did it twice.
Eli did it twice.
Yeah.
That was
You know what? Stafford is what Stafford is. We all know. You know what? If they got issues with him, they made their bed.
Correct.
They fucking made their bed. They're the
Yeah.
ones that gave up what they gave up to get him.
Yep.
So, you know what?
And his
It's
money,
on them.
His money was a deal when he came in, considering like he got a big contract, but then quarterbacks start jumping him, and he got really good.
Let me
he got
ask
money
you
for him.
this question. You think they gave up on Goff too quick?
I think that there was bad, unsalvageable blood between Goff and McVay. Goff never talks about it. Friendly reminder on Goff, that year that he was considered bad and they wanted to get rid of him, so his last year in LA, all he did was just win a playoff game with a broken finger. No big fucking deal. And for us, I just remember when they traded for him at the time, I was like, no, Goff's not good. I'm like, we're getting a quarterback that played in a Super Bowl, has exponential more playoff wins. Even if Stafford wins 3 there, Goff will still have more playoff wins. And he's coming off of a playoff win, which is all we want here, is a win in the playoffs. And that's a guy that's done it. Sometimes it was in spite of him. Sometimes it was because of him. But No, I mean, yeah, of course. I think that McVay didn't know how to use him as well, and he thought, oh, Stafford.
I don't like the fact that Goff has got this perception of being soft.
He's not.
And because he shit the bed hard in that Super Bowl against the Patriots, and he was playing an elite defense at that point. He was against a team that was an elite defensive team.
Even here, it's only been 2 years, but Goff has already put together a crazy body of work. And the only bad stretch of his 2 years here was the beginning of his first season. And they had no one to throw to. It was Khalif Raymond, who's great, but they expected Tyrell Williams and a bunch of other stuff. Tyrell Williams didn't end up playing at all. And, I mean, it's because of Goff you get Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, it's because of Goff. Like, things are happening here because of Goff. And he was arguably the most, I'm not saying the best, but he was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL last year and led a massive passing attack. And I mean,
there was a 6-game stretch there where he was leading the league.
Yeah. I'm very much excited. One of the things I'm looking forward to the most this year is what the hell Jared Goff's going to do. He could easily be a fringe MVP candidate if the Lions' offense is as good as what we think it's going to be and what people are saying it's going to be. And I never felt that way. Maybe once I felt that way about Stafford after that 5,000-yard season, which he followed up with doo-doo. He followed it up with not a good season.
There you go.
All right, let's move on to some other signings news.
We made a run of show, and it's got like 7 items on it.
We're gonna get through 3.
And those were the first 2 items were the running backs and
Stafford. But that's okay, because guess what? That was some really good. That was we dug deep into him. I feel good about it.
Anytime I get a chance to dig up Matt Stafford is a good thing.
We could be quick with what's next because we've already talked about him ad nauseam.
But real quick, I want to throw another one in there. Cowboys All-Pro guard Zach Martin is not going to report to camp because he thinks if CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott are getting restructured contracts, he should too. He says that he is woefully underpaid relative to the market. So that could be a big one for them.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I'd be very happy if someone doesn't report in Dallas. The Lions.
Listen, I don't give a shit what Dallas does. It doesn't matter what Dallas does, and I'll say it because
they got
of this.
Bacon back in the.
It's beside Mike McCarthy being their head coach.
We're going to be talking about McCarthy and
Dak Prescott. That's all I'm going to say. Dak Prescott. They'll never win anything with Dak Prescott.
I agree.
Quinnen Williams. He finally got paid, and Zolo was right, per usual.
Yep.
He
is staying in New York with the Jets.
I think we all had the money on that, too.
I think we
said
did.
It was going to be 95 to 100, and I think he came in 4 years, 96.
He did.
He deserves it. He's a really young talent.
Too.
Top 3 tackle in the league, D tackle in the league.
I talk about a young guy when he was coming out of college. What was he, 19, 20, coming out of Alabama?
Do you guys know his brother plays for the Jets, too?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Quincy Williams.
I didn't know that.
Quincy Williams.
Yep. 4 years, $96 million, $66 million guaranteed.
Yep.
Good for him.
Good
for him.
DeAndre Hopkins. For a guy who said he wanted to go somewhere with
his criteria,
good quarterback, and he wanted to win now,
established management.
And I'm sorry, what was it? An elite defense.
Yeah.
He chose the team that doesn't have any of those things. DeAndre Hopkins.
Maybe the only thing they have is maybe the front office with the coach.
No, they just got him. I think the guy that they picked up in the front office is pretty heralded, but he's brand new.
Yeah.
So it's not an established front office, because he didn't want the chaos.
Well, he wanted to go somewhere with stability. I think
that's not a place of stability.
Is Mike Vrabel stability?
We don't know who's going to be a quarterback. I saw a headline that Malik Willis is dominating Will Levis in camp, but they still might drop Malik Willis. Meanwhile, Ryan Tannehill is going to start, and you're one injury away on Derrick Henry. When I asked you this when I sent it,
backup running back
why does this move the needle?
No, for me, this doesn't move the needle at all.
The only thing that's kind of a talking point here is the money. I think he's getting like 50. It was 2 years.
2 years,
26 with the possibility for 32.
32 with
so if he's good and he's still DeAndre Hopkins, the Titans win this because they got him on a bargain.
Oh yeah,
you know who's going to pay dividends in all this? That receiver they picked up last year.
Treylon Burks.
Burks is going to absolutely blow it up. Because all the coverage is going to be going toward Hopkins.
Stop.
What?
I don't want to hear this. I want to hear this bullshit.
That's my...
All right? Because guess fucking what? It doesn't matter if you have Ryan Tannehill, Malik fucking Willis.
Yeah.
Your best receiver in your quarterback room is Will Levis. Okay? That's the best you've
receiver?
got. What the, I don't care if
he's the
Dan
best
Marino,
receiver?
You know what he meant.
Dan Marino and Jesus Christ could have came down and helped Malik Willis this offseason. He ain't it.
Dan Marino's not dead.
He ain't fucking it. It's
I
not
bet
gonna
you.
work.
I will lay money on this. Dan Marino could go in there right now and beat every one of those quarterbacks out.
Yes,
He's
without
fucking
question, at
60.
70.
He's fucking 60 and could go in there and beat every one of those guys out.
It just ain't it. It's not gonna do anything. It doesn't. You want to know what this does? This $26 million that they spent to get him might give him an extra win. There'll be one game where DeAndre Hopkins goes fucking crazy, and they.
You know
pull
who
an
I'd
extra
like to
win
see
out
them
of it.
sign? Tom Brady.
Anyways, we're gonna move on from that one real quick. Dalvin Cook is hesitant to sign with the Dolphins now. All of a sudden, we thought this was a lock.
No, he doesn't like their offer. He saw their offer and he doesn't like it, and he's probably holding out for something better.
Here we go. Here's another guy.
He's ending up in Miami. He's going to Miami.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's not going to not play this year.
Is he going to pass his physical, though? That's the issue.
He'll pass his physical. I think he's going to have in Miami.
Supposedly, the offer was around $4 million a year. Which, I mean, my God, you want to talk about a bargain?
But if no one else
think
is
Fournette
offering,
gets more than that.
if no one else is offering, number one, and number two, if it's home and you have a chance to win some fucking games there, like if you're holding out for offers, that's one thing. But if no one else is offered, that's your only offer on the table.
See,
You
this
take
is what
that.
this is what I don't like about the clubs
Take
right
it.
now. Make it incentive based. Bring them in. Say, look, dude, you get this many touches, you get this many touchdowns. You
So
know what I'm saying?
that's
Make
a
it work
team-
these guys as wild.
That's a team that might not be able to afford it, but agreed, 100%.
You got to figure. They said he's looking for somewhere around $8 million. They offered him something between 4 and 6. $8 million puts him between Barkley and James Conner right now. So I mean,
You like him better than Connor?
I like it better than Conner. Obviously,
like
I
it
like
better than
Saquon
Barkley?
better.
But he's one of these guys.
He's gonna get fucking hurt.
He's in the twilight. Number
Yeah.
one, he always gets hurt.
He's
and
hurt
number
every
two,
year.
he's been around longer than the guys that are better than him and holding out right now. And I
Right,
still think
right.
Dalvin Cook is very good, by the way.
I guess you could argue if you get a healthy Dalvin Cook, I might rather have him than Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
give me Jacobs
I,
or
no,
Barkley
I would
all
agree
day.
with that.
That something's that's sitting right there for me. I don't know. I mean, he's better than Naheem Hines, who's the other one sitting at the $4 million number. So, I mean, you want to give us our Saudi NFL team update?
Yeah, the investment group there, the Saudi investment group, put together a separate group that wants to investigate having more of a hand in sports, which includes everything, more soccer teams, tennis, I read, and the rumor is one of the items on the list is an NFL team. So what we predicted is possible to come to fruition. I don't think it'll be hard for them to get it when the time comes.
They got a shit ton of money.
Yeah, they got so much money. You just
Do
overpay.
you think the NFL's going to turn down their money?
The revenue is shared, sans the Dallas Cowboys. The revenue is shared in the NFL, and I think that there is a number where the NFL, the owners won't care, and they will back down and say, yeah, we'll take your money if you're going to pay $7 or $8 million for your team. And I think it's going to happen eventually.
Billion.
It may be later rather than sooner, but I think eventually the egg will crack.
I can't.
That's the day I stopped watching
Listen,
football.
golf is like the holier than thou sport, and they gave up on the money
Yep.
real quick.
Yep.
So don't think that Roger Goodell and the NFL ain't going to turn a trick and say, sure, we're all in.
They won't.
That's it. Well,
Uncle Sam,
yes.
have you watched Quarterback yet on Netflix?
I will not watch anything with Patty Mahomes on it.
Okay. Zolo, have you watched Quarterback yet on Netflix?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm very impressed. Very impressed.
Why?
I just think it's a good version of Hard Knocks.
This is what I'm hearing.
And it's 3 quarterbacks at 3 different stages of their careers.
Mm-hmm.
They're still like similar in age, I think, but all of like they have history in college. We know who they are, and you get to see how it plays out. And I haven't gotten to the end yet, but I mean Mahomes is in it, and he makes the Super Bowl and wins it. And I'm curious how that's going to unfold on the show. And it's just really good, and there's so much potential, and I would love to see different versions of it. Number one, I think they've already talked about renewing it with 3 different
It's already
quarterbacks this
been
year.
renewed.
It's already been renewed. But I would love to see like a coach version or a front office version or a running back.
Well, this is actually parts of this. I did watch it, by the way. I'm fucking with you.
Fucking do it.
What I like is the behind the scenes stuff. This is stuff that you don't see normally.
You used to on Hard Knocks. It doesn't happen
Yeah,
as much anymore,
yes.
though.
But I think this is a little more deeper than that because it's just quarterbacks, and I think it's pretty cool to watch because you can see just what they go through day in day out with preparation and whatnot. And Omar was talking to me about it today, and shout out to Omar. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And I'd like to know who the next 3 are that they're going to do.
Yeah, let's do that. First,
Yeah.
I have one blurb that it's just a funny one. The show is good enough that it's made me not hate Brittany Mahomes. I think she's great, and I couldn't have told you that 2 months ago. But I think Brittany Mahomes is outstanding in the show, and she actually seems like genuine. And I think that's what that show's done. It's made me hate Kirk Cousins more.
Just remember, she's an actress.
That's fine.
All right,
That's fine.
it's acting.
Just showing you what you want.
No, but
Yeah.
she's from Texas, and she talks monotone with that Texas accent like this, and she talks really slow, and she almost never talks about herself, just about her husband, and I think that's impressive. Like when I watch her scream her
Be
head
happy
off,
that Kelly Stafford's not on there.
yeah, hard
Holy
hard pass. We lived that episode of Quarterbacks. Okay, let's hear your 3 who you would like to hear this season, Uncle Sam.
I would like to see guys that are. I want to see one guy who's on the cusp of being out of the league. One guy who's
Okay,
just coming into the league.
stop. Who's the one guy on the cusp of being out of the league that you would like to see in the show Quarterbacks?
Aaron
Stafford.
Rodgers.
I mean, he's in Hard
I
Knocks.
think he's made for TV.
I agree. I think he's gonna ruin Hard Knocks because he plays so many mind games. But I would love to see.
I would love
an
to see an
unedited version.
in-depth
Yeah, an
look at it.
unedited, like no
Correct.
holds bar version of Aaron Rodgers. I'll give you that. All right, give me 2 more. Let's go.
I would like to see younger guys. Maybe Stroud. Follow him around.
A rookie in general.
Correct.
Purdy.
A rookie. I'm sorry.
He's trying to set you
What was
off.
that?
He's trying to set you off with Brock Purdy.
Said Brock Purdy.
Anyway, why don't you just
You
say?
get your third one
Why don't
out
you
here?
just say
Come on.
Dak Prescott?
I should have.
Dak Prescott. Got to have one of them on there that I can't fucking stand.
Would you like
Dak
to hear my
Prescott.
3?
Please try and make them different.
They're all different.
Good.
They're all different. Honestly, I think yours were garbage, to be brutally honest with you. I wouldn't be interested in any of them.
What do you mean?
That was awful. It was awful.
What's wrong with
Hey,
CJ Stroud?
Derek Carr would be one of mine that I'd want to see.
Oh, that's a good one.
On his way out.
Anthony Richardson
Okay.
and Russell Wilson.
Wow.
Russell Wilson would just be
He's
so...
a fucking weirdo.
Yes, but that's why I'd want to see
Yeah,
him. He'd be so fucking tacky on it.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the thing. I think you would get an extreme amount of, like, rawness and, like, the climb back up. From
Nobody
Derek
cares
Carr-
about
from
him. They just
Derek
want to see his
Carr-
old lady.
From Derek Carr,
Yeah.
okay? I think Anthony Richardson, I don't want to see Bryce Young because I don't think you'd get... I don't think it would be as
He's
authentic.
quiet. He's quiet.
Yeah, CJ Stroud doesn't do anything for me because it's Houston. I want to see Richardson, and I want to see the takes
Hey,
of
what
Richardson
bigger clusterfuck is there than Houston?
because I'd want to see Richardson interacting with Jim Irsay on there. I think it would be fucking
Oh.
awesome. And then
Fuck it, sit
I
down,
want-
boy. Let's have a
Russell
shot.
Russell Wilson would try so hard on there that it would just be like,
We would cringe. He'd be the Kirk.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Ru-
You watched
I
it?
haven't yet, but
Russell
that's
Wilson would be
Kirk
doing
Cousins.
like Prince.
Kirk Cousin is
Would you like
so
some
cringe.
pancakes?
Him and his wife are so cringe, and I'm
Like,
not just saying that because I hate Michigan
he would
State.
try so hard.
The God thing doesn't do it for me. And even like I was listening to Valeni and what's his face on the way here, and even there, Valeni's like, it's made me dislike Kirk Cousins. Not necessarily that, but he's like, it's just like I'm not into it. Like, I'm sick of it. Kirk Cousins, a spoiler if you guys haven't watched it, he's got in his home in Holland or whatever it is, somewhere up north. He's got a trophy room that he tried to say, yeah, I want it to be off the beaten path, like a memories room almost. It looks like this. He's like, I want it to be off the beaten path a little bit in the house. But yeah, because he's like, I don't want people to just stumble in there, I just want it to be for me. Yet he takes the cameras in there. Don't show us. And then he's got all of his game balls lined up. He's got every jersey he's ever worn, cleats, helmets, just some weird shit, like culty shit. And he talks about, thanks to God. Not into it. Not into it. I like your 3, though.
I like my 3. See,
I do.
Aaron Rodgers wouldn't give you anything. Like
Aaron
okay, hold on.
Rodgers is high.
Yes, I
like
know
Bruce.
that. But you said Aaron Rodgers, so we got to go into this. He already came out.
I still think you should see the criteria should be this: somebody coming in,
Yes, but
somebody at the top of the game, and somebody going out.
Aaron Rodgers isn't going to give you shit. We know this because of what he said about Hard Knocks today. Because the Jets got Hard Knocks. He came out and said they forced it down our throats. We got to deal with it. I understand the appeal of us. Obviously, there's a lot of eyes on me and a lot of eyes on our team, a lot of expectations on our squad, but we just didn't want it. Okay? Then they doubled down, and the Jets said that they think it's inhumane to show players getting cut, so they will not be allowing that for taping. And there are other restrictions.
Oh, come on!
There are other restrictions being
They're
put
fucking up
on the
Hard
show.
Knocks.
They will not. It will not be, quote unquote, will not be the same Hard Knocks because of the team's alleged reluctance to participate and denial of access.
What the fuck?
It ain't gonna be any good. You already know. Rodgers don't like it. The team don't like it. They're restricting them on what they're gonna show. That's why I wouldn't want to see Aaron Rodgers.
I don't want to see it. No, then I blame the Jets. Woody Johnson, you need to fucking stop that right now. You tell Rodgers to get in front of them fucking cameras and you show every guy that's going to get cut. That is absolute horseshit. That's part of the show. That's why it's called Hard Knocks.
Not anymore.
That's why. Why don't they want to show guys getting cut?
It's inhumane.
Inhuman. Oh, Jesus.
That was
Lions broke
Are you
the fucking
fucking
show,
kidding
man.
me?
Yeah,
The Lions broke the show.
they might have.
What are you fucking kidding
You
me?
better get 3 quarterbacks ready, Bruce, because you're not exempt from this.
What the fuck?
Give us your 3 quarterbacks you'd want to see on quarterbacks.
I would
first
like.
one was
I
good.
would like to see Rodgers.
Okay, you said Brock Purdy.
Maybe
He's just
that's
saying that
because
'cause
he's
he's
just
high.
a high on.
You said
but-
Brock Purdy because you're trying to piss off Uncle Sam, but I thought that was genuinely a good one.
I thought Purdy was a
No,
good one
I'd like
too.
to see Purdy because the NFL is so in love with him right now. So yeah, that's why I'd like to see him. And then
Okay, so we have Purdy, Rodgers, who?
Baker Mayfield.
Ooh,
Baker
That's not
Mayfield?
bad.
honestly, that's not that bad.
That's not bad. I think Baker Mayfield had a Hard Knocks, if I remember
I
correctly.
think he did.
Yeah, he did.
He
But
did.
my 3 are my the unknown guy, like the Marcus Mariota equivalent, and I think this is relevant because it's great for we get to see the fan base up close, this town up close, which no one's known about unless you've been there.
Love?
Jordan Love.
Yep.
Jordan Love would be the unknown one to see how he deals with whatever happens, good or bad, this year. My on the fringe guy and trying to this could be us making a run and good things will happen guy is Tua.
Ooh,
That is a good
Nice.
That's a good.
I think it'd be fun to see Tua dealing with another fan base and a team with high expectations. He had a comment recently, I think we could win the Super Bowl. I genuinely think the Dolphins are so damn good.
I know.
And I think it's going to be
So
them,
excited.
Yeah,
the
if he
Chiefs,
can
or the
stay
Ravens.
healthy, they're going to do some damage.
They're going to do damage. Number 3 for me is Jalen Hurts. He's the Mahomes equivalent. See, let's say that it goes the other way this year. The two play each other in the Super Bowl again. I want to see Jalen Hurts' side of the story this year. And I think he's...
I think Jalen Hurts being in that Super Bowl last year, that turnover just crushed him.
Yeah.
When they had the momentum going, and I think he wants to redeem himself.
And he just seems like a genuinely good dude.
Yeah.
Like he's never said a bad thing. And this goes back to college. He lost his job to Tua.
Yeah.
And whatever, I'll go to Oklahoma. And he almost won a Heisman at Oklahoma. And I think he made the playoff at Oklahoma too. He's very effective. He's got one of the best college careers ever, even if his numbers aren't up there. And he didn't win a Heisman. And instantly, year 3, he's in the
a
Super
kid that had a bad half of football and got benched.
Yeah, and got benched, exactly. And then
He had a bad half of football and got benched.
Yeah.
I hate to jump back, but I just got this Saquon Barkley headline across the Twitter sphere here. He did a podcast, I guess, and it was
Money matters.
the quote was, his leverage on the Giants is, quote unquote, fuck you. My leverage is I can just say fuck you to the Giants and say fuck you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show you my worth? You want me to show you how valuable I am to this team? I won't show up. I won't play a fucking down. And that's the play that I could use.
That's the play. That's what it is.
That's anger right there.
Yeah, but that's
all
play.
anger, baby.
And I guarantee you, if you went into the locker room and not just ask the potential 55-man roster, but if you ask the 90-man roster going in the training camp what they think of that, I guarantee you not one guy would go against that.
agree.
They would all agree with them, as they should. I'm not asking them to take pay cuts, but I think everyone will agree with that. That you know, go get yours, and they know.
I don't think you could sit there with a good conscience and give Daniel Jones a big extension and not give this guy fucking nothing. That to me just it's wrong.
Ew.
It's wrong.
I'm with you.
Because guess what? Without him, they're fucked. They're fucked.
That's those are some strong words. What else you got for us?
Let's do it. Let's try and piss Uncle Sam off for a little bit here.
Okay.
What?
Let's
We're
do it.
gonna do some quarterback gossip. We're trying to pander to a wider audience right now. They're all retired quarterbacks, but you're gonna hate everything we're about to say, and we just want to make.
I want to hear it.
We want to
Let's do
make
it.
you go from that light pink that you are right now to fucking red.
That light pink is because I was out in the sun all fucking day. That's why.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
If you had to use some things to describe him, what would you describe him as?
He's a sexual tyrannosaurus.
I mean, he hit it
He's got
right
10.
on the head.
He's got 10 fucking kids, dude. There ain't nobody firing
How
more
many
bullets
kids
than him.
does he have?
10 kids. He just had his 10th child. Ain't nobody shooting fucking gun like this
He's
guy.
never shot a blank in his life.
No.
He has a whole team.
My God.
whole offense.
One more. He's got a fucking team.
Well, no, with him, I mean,
if he plays, they're ready. He's ready to field the team.
Ready.
If
I
not,
don't know. He's been hanging out with Jimmy.
Oh,
But
Jimmy's
I-
sliding him some.
I don't
something
know.
to pop on the daily. I mean, my God, doesn't he get tired?
Extends.
You know, I saw this thing on him.
Speaking of Jimmy Johnson, and I don't mean to go off.
how many kids does Jimmy Johnson have?
Wait, Jimmy.
whole
It
bunch
doesn't,
of illegitimate.
it doesn't matter because Jimmy's just swinging. But Jimmy Johnson, you know, he traded Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings. And
What
got
relevance
all the-
Wait,
and
hold
got
on.
all that draft.
Hold
capital.
on, that won them Super Bowls. That trade,
Correct.
It won them everything.
Correct.
They don't win. They don't go to the Super Bowls without getting all
Correct.
the four of the guys.
Jimmy
that they
Johnson
drafted.
traded away probably one of the premier running backs in the league to get capital.
Wait, didn't that get them Emmitt Smith? That trade? Didn't they draft Emmitt
yeah.
Smith with one of those picks?
Troy Aikman, Emmitt
Yeah.
Smith, Michael Irvin.
That was the chime in here. We're talking about how Phillip Rivers is a fuck machine.
I had to
You're
throw
gonna
that
bring
in
up
there.
something
Well,
factual?
because Jimmy Johnson's a fuck machine too. Come on. Now.
Do the next one. Do the
well,
next one.
real quick, Phillip Rivers. I saw this thing one time that after the Chargers moved to LA.
Do you know he does not cuss?
Yeah, because he's
That's
super.
fucked up.
You ever hear that the shit talking he does on the field? He's like, man, frick you, brother. That was a
that's
great play there.
questionable.
Doesn't
But,
cuss.
Hey,
He believes in
didn't-
Jesus. He's crazy.
After the Chargers moved to LA from San Diego, he didn't want to move his family. So he bought a Sprinter van and hired a driver, and every morning had the driver take him the 4 hours to LA.
No. It was. It made a lot of sense in real time. It's also why the Chargers moved. That's true. He never left where he was. I think he was in La Jolla. He might have been even north than that. But he was only going to Costa Mesa, which if he's more north of San Diego and he's going to
Right.
south, like northern end of Orange County, on a good day, like if you're leaving at 5 a.m. for practice every day, that's an hour or less ride.
That's it?
It's
I
an
got
hour
it.
So
and
it's
a
a
half to
little,
San
it's a
Diego.
little closer than we think.
But regardless, he's
Yeah.
commuting. He was so committed to San Diego that he never moved. He just never left,
That's a beautiful play.
which is awesome. Oh, San
Good
Diego's
dude.
incredible.
Phillip Rivers is a good dude.
I like Phillip Rivers.
He
Always
had a
have.
great career.
Are
For
we
a guy
gonna-
that didn't
I was
win
always a
anything.
Are
Phillip
we going to
Rivers
have to
fan.
do a Mount Rushmore of good dudes at some point? We've
Yeah.
done so many
it.
scumbag Mount Rushmores.
Yeah, we could do a good dude.
It's
one.
been a long
Good
time
dude.
since I've done a scumbag.
Bruce, you're
Mount
going to have to get on
Rushmore.
that. The Mount Rushmore of just good dudes.
Yeah.
Dudes.
Good dudes. Good dudes.
Well,
And,
we'll have
and
a
a
good
Mount
dude
Rushmore of
draft.
shit bags.
Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld, I forgot what she sings.
She's more of an actress. She's
Is she?
She's in some Marvel content, and
Okay.
you know, she's an up and coming actress.
They were making out on the beach in Mexico. And it's still
Good for him.
unconfirmed whether or not he had a kid with the waitress. I mean,
Oh yeah. I remember that. You were
my
talking
dude's
about
Oh,
got a
that.
whole fucking soap opera going on
He
behind.
sure does.
Listen,
I
Listen,
didn't
he's
think
on the
he'd get
beach.
this
He's
into
with a
this.
chick, and he's in
into
Mexico.
it.
I got no complaints.
Yeah.
I got
She's
no
a cute.
complaints.
We'll show you a picture afterwards. She's a cutie too. She's a good catch, and she's in some
God
items.
bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him. I know. If I was him, young stud, 6'5", 240.
My man went to
I'd have
Wyoming and
probably.
he's taking advantage.
I
of
would
it
have
now.
boats and hoes. I don't
Yeah.
know about you, but I'd be out there boats and hoes.
The quality of women at Wyoming probably isn't what he's used to getting right now. Or what? Is that where he went?
sure
Wyoming,
not.
or Idaho or something like that.
Wyoming. All right.
This is the big one. This one's gonna blow your fucking mind, Uncle Sam.
Okay.
Tom Brady
What?
Well, the room is true, sir. Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian
Fuck you.
could be fucking on the low.
Oh, God. What the fuck? He sold out his life to
Okay.
go. Are you fucking kidding? Number one, he's the wrong color. Okay? Where the fuck are we going with this?
You just stole my thunder because I had a comment on this. First things first, I love it.
I do too.
It's outstanding.
I
for
don't
me.
think there is there a bigger. I mean, Jesus.
He's turning.
That's
You know what?
Beyonce, Jay-Z
Hold on,
levels
hold
of
on
like,
now. Hold on
honestly,
now.
power
I've
couple.
already
It's
figured
bigger.
it out.
It's
It's
bigger.
bigger.
I've already
It's the
figured it
biggest power
out, dude.
couple in the world.
No, I got it already. I already know what's going to happen. Tom Brady is going to be the next transgender. He's going to be the next
gonna be the
Bruce
next
Jenner.
Bruce.
He's going to be the next Bruce Jenner.
Caitlyn.
He's going to have titties, and him and Kim will get divorced, and he'll have his own show. What is it going to be called? Tom plus Mom. I don't know, and that's what it's going to be.
Bad.
He's going to be the next big transgender.
Yeah.
So
So
I have one blur before we go over.
go.
God, this is fucked up. But that family seems to be pivoting from black men.
Well, I mean, Travis Barker's in. He's married.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
she had a white.
Travis
She had
Barker's
a white
a
before.
fucking
Kylie
big
Jenner
cunt.
and the
Timothy
fucking guy that looks like
Chalamet.
Ian.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
and even
yeah.
Kendall. It's Bad Bunny, but he's not black.
No, he's Puerto Rican or some
Yeah,
shit.
but Kendall. So if you see Chloe pivot, you'll
I'm
know
just
this is
asking.
strategic.
Here's my big thing on this: why is Tom Brady? You know what? Giselle Bundchen might fuck him up.
Oh,
She ain't gonna want her
Brazilian.
kids
You want a hot take
at
here?
any part of that.
She's got a rockin' bod, Giselle. I never thought she was that pretty.
Oh,
I
no.
think she's
Kim-
ugly,
Yeah.
personally.
She seems cool. I'm
I
taking
think
Kim
she's ugly.
Kardashian over
All
Giselle
day.
all day.
I
Listen to me.
I just couldn't.
Can I ask you a
There's too
question?
much that just ain't real. I'm sorry.
That's
But-
fine.
okay, but stop and think
It's
about
just-
it.
It's just,
They're,
you know, there's a lot better looking women than her out there, and younger. Why the fuck would he
he's
step?
fucking 50.
Why- You understand what I'm saying? How old is that?
He wants
How
Tom
old
Brady
is
to end
this
up with a
trick?
19-year-old. He wants some Scott
It's not
Disick,
gonna
Sophia
happen.
Rich
It's
and
not,
shit.
it's not that. I
happen.
don't expect a 19-year-old. No. At
25?
least-
22.
No, 30. 30.
They say it's is he actually 50? He's close to that, right?
Gotta be
47,
40.
48.
Yeah.
They say
Yeah,
it's
he's like 48.
half your age plus 10.
30.
He's
30
he's gonna be 46.
Okay,
All right,
so
so
someone
30.
33,
At
which is
least
my
30.
age.
Hey, Sofia Vergara's out there.
She's
She
getting
just got
divorced.
separated from her guy.
She's getting
She's
divorced.
smoking hot.
Ariana
She's hotter
Grande.
than fucking Kim Kardashian.
At this point, Tom Brady's got to
she's
tread
50.
slightly lightly because he's in the territory of his kids. But
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why he would subject his family to that kind of
I don't know.
bullshit.
I think
Is the money that
Wait,
important?
I think they were
think
just
it'll-
fucking on the low.
It'll never be
it's
public.
not on. It's not on.
no.
the
They're
low.
th-
They're
supposedly
leaking it,
I'm
dude.
just saying.
Supposedly, the people at the white party said that they were close the entire time, and there's one snuck-in picture of the two of them
Yeah.
together. There's one picture, but supposedly they were almost inseparable at the white party. If the tabloids are true,
It is.
Whatever.
yeah, usually they're almost always true.
If I was him, I would disappear from the public.
Maybe he's not capable.
He
Listen,
needs to.
listen. I
He needs
fucking
to. That's
love
his
it.
fucking problem.
I think it's
I
great.
think it's ultimate. There's no.
I don't
no
mind his
power-
divorce
That's
because I was
peak
never a
couple.
fan of his old lady anyway. But I don't mind that. But man, fucking, what are you doing?
It's peak
I like-
sports and peak celebrity over
Yeah,
the
there's
last
a
2
two-
decades.
They're
What
the
happened
two
to Pete
biggest.
Davidson? Wasn't he fucking her too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gone.
That fucking retard.
That was I think
Huh?
that was like 2 fucks ago though. I think
Yeah, that was.
that was 2
Oh,
dicks,
was
2
it?
dicks
That
ago.
was a few dicks.
Am I right on
That
that?
was a dick
though?
in time.
Pete
Yeah, he was.
Davidson.
He
And
was just a
that
quick-
guy to me is just fucking horrible. He's not funny.
Hey, can I
He's
ask
a
you
jack
question?
off.
Okay, would you
Yeah.
rather fuck Bruce or Pete Davidson?
This is hard because they look similar. Except, you know what?
Both
Pete
just
Davidson's got
fucking-
some
What?
tattoos.
Pete
so I'd
Davidson's
say
got
he's
the
a little,
butthole
He's got
eyes,
some
though.
tattoos. so he's a
Someone
little-
some bar
little
schools
tougher
said
than
Pete
Bruce.
Davidson had butthole eyes.
He has butthole
and
eyes.
Ariana Grande was so triggered by that.
Oh, I know. Fucking whatever.
Who?
She fucking like cut all her hair off and went insane too. Anyways.
Yeah.
But one more thing before we leave. Training camp is here officially. I believe rookies reported today.
Lions rookies reported today.
Yep.
The vets report Saturday.
Emails were sent out.
Yeah, emails
Well,
were sent out
I
on
think
gambling,
we
I'm
should,
sure.
maybe for our next deal, maybe we should go down to Allen Park.
Yeah, Uncle Sam threw around the idea of us having a picnic at Allen Park
picnic.
and going live.
I am
outside.
so down because of the timing, and I wanted to take my girlfriend. It was tough to figure out the season ticket holder functions that they have, which are always great. I got to see if they're sold out. But I'm down. I'm down to go to Allen Park.
Well,
and
what
do
I'm
that.
thinking about is that we just get a little table and a little tent and pitch up a little thing, sit out front, pass out some T-shirts,
Yeah, so
pass out some merchandise to the folks coming to Allen Park, and we'll do a little show right out front.
I'm down.
Show you that we're there.
Yeah.
yeah, so there's a chance we might.
I mean, we can't take cameras inside. We already know that.
And behind the scenes, this is just a tip right now. Sam and I have discussed working on something on game days downtown at Ford Field. It's in the early planning phases, but you might be seeing us. Maybe not all of us, but maybe some tip balls correspondents that could come down there and cause some problems and meet with some of you guys and maybe throw you some high
A
noons.
little
Interesting.
He'll go one time, and that's about it.
No, I don't know.
Whatever.
If it's us. I mean, in
You
a
know
perfect
what?
world,
Hey,
we're
you want
showing
to know
up.
something
He's
right
got
now?
Carol
I
Brunch.
tried to get Bruce to go last year. I didn't want to go by myself. He was like a little kid fucking, no, I don't want to go by myself.
What?
Well, no, it'd be you. I mean, ideally in a perfect world, I
He's
know
got
you,
him
you
and
go, you go to all
Butthole.
the
They
games.
could go down.
I go to all the
every
games.
fucking.
I-
I'm
yeah,
not
I go to
going
all
to the
the
games
games.
to fucking work.
Yeah,
I'm going to
but-
get drunk
but
and
you
watch the
tailgate?
fucking line.
Okay, so stop right there. I almost never tailgate. I might do one or two a year. If you're getting drunk and watching Lions, I know you're going to tailgates. So if you're going to tailgates, you're the perfect
Not
player to go. We send someone with you. Maybe I can meet you. Regardless, you go.
Yes, but you're forgetting the key thing here. He's fucking worthless.
You're forgetting that.
You're not supposed to.
At least
agree.
he owns it.
Wow.
You're not supposed to agree
Anyway,
with them.
thank you so much for listening.
I want to
Wait,
put
wait,
a
wait,
poll.
whoa, whoa,
I want to
whoa,
put a
whoa,
poll
okay.
up.
I got
Sorry.
something. You first. I
Go
got
ahead.
something too.
No, go
I
ahead.
jumped the gun.
No, I want to put a cherry on top. So you go first.
Okay.
Go.
I think we should put a poll out. Should we fire Bruce or keep Bruce?
Honestly, you want to know something?
We need to take a poll.
I contemplated this the other day and just leaving it up to the world. Just leaving it up.
Let's
to
leave it up to our fans. Should we
They'll
keep
leave
Bruce
me on.
or fire Bruce?
Leaving your
leave
job
me on.
security
Hey,
to an
hey.
Instagram poll.
We are going. Yes, you know what? We are going to put whether or not Bruce is here next week up to an Instagram poll.
Wow.
I think that's a good
We're gonna
idea.
let the people choose.
What is that, skull? Now you're chewing tobacco?
talking-
Anyway,
security.
Cindy Poochers.
real quick.
Solo.
Real
What
quick.
the fuck?
Real quick. 50 days from today.
Oh shit!
50 days from today, the Lions will be kicking off in Kansas City.
Holy shit! 50. That's it.
50 days from the NFL season. And by NFL season, I mean not just the NFL season, but the Lions season this time.
That's gross.
50 more days. It's
you
it's
believe it?
coming.
50 days.
Bye.
My God, it just flew by. didn't
Yeah,
it?
next week we'll be ready to take the gossip off of the
Next year will be
storyboards.
24.
Yeah, news.
And we'll be hitting training camp
Like
news and how
news.
things are shaping up.
Next year will be 24. We'll be down at the draft.
Oh,
I can't wait.
we're lurking.
I can't wait.
It'll be hard to
You gotta
pry me
have to
away
get
from that
tickets
draft
for
party.
that, by the way.
I'm sorry?
Pretty sure it comes soon.
Say that again?
The actual draft itself is going to be open, but there's always the Lions
Listen,
portion and all that.
We're
We'll
gonna.
be
We're
safe.
gonna.
I don't care about
we're-
all
We'll be
that.
there in some
We'll
capacity.
be there.
We'll be there in some capacity. Whether I got to take Bruce and toss him off the fucking roof of Cobo, it's going to happen.
Wow.
How does what?
We'll figure it out. Good. Anything else? Are you giving me a God bless today or no?
God damn it.
The
No.
opposite of God bless.
I'm good.
One more.
No, I'm good.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of
I'm
the
all
Tip
jacked
Balls
up on
Podcast.
Aladdin.
Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tipballs, TikTok at Tipballs Podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe and ring the bell, or you can listen to us on Spotify or Apple Music. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week. And guess what? Pretty soon, you're going to have to deal with this more than once a week.
Oof.
Pretty soon.
Oh, shit.
God bless.
Godspeed.
Bruce ain't going to make it. Don't forget the poll.